think a lot of people would consider that you got John on a deep hometown discount here. Can you talk a little bit about A, why you wanted him to stay, and B, what do you think it means for him to stay at the number that he's staying at?
Well, first, it's a really good day, and I want to start by saying give a lot of credit first and foremost to John. We talked at the end of the year, and John's want and desire to be here, to win here, and I think his commitment was illustrated by what he did here. The opportunity, I think we would all agree there's going to be an opportunity for John to make a lot more money elsewhere. And his focus was staying here. So his work and his commitment and his desire, it sort of steered the process on this negotiation. So full marks and full credit to John. And the rest of his representatives, Paperson, James, Jimmy Nice, and obviously on our side, Brandon Pridham. It was a team effort, and it was led by John. So I would say that at the beginning, and why we wanted to keep John, because he's a really good player. 38 goals, point per game player last year. I understand, John's at the age that he is, and we all expect aging curves to kick in at some point. John's been able to defy it, and it's a credit to the way he looks after himself, the commitment he has to his craft, his body, his preparation is second to none. So we expect John to be a really good player moving forward. And so, can't remember the second part of your question, Kevin, as I was rambling on. But it's driven by the fact that we wanted John here, who plays a premium position and is a real good player for us.
Okay, we'll go next question. Mark Masters, TSN.
Brad, do you project John to play obviously a different contract next year? Do you project him to play the same role, second line center? And just to follow up on what you're saying there, what have you learned about his ability to maintain a high level and what you will expect from him over the course of this contract?
Well, first part of the question, Mark, you're in the process of building your team now, so we expect John to be a really important player for us. And as the team building process continues over the course of the summer, we'll see how everything sorts itself out. But obviously, John's, I won't speak for Chief here right now, but that's we'll see how everything plays out in terms of the team building. There's some guys that defy, that can play well, into their mid and late 30s, and I don't necessarily think just because you get to 33, 34, 35 years old that all of a sudden your career is over. It certainly comes with a little bit of genetics, but there's just a lot of work that goes into it. And like I said, I don't know if there's a more committed athlete that I've been around in terms of just his preparation, how he looks after himself, the work that he puts in. He's second to none that way. So I look at John maintaining his level. We'll see. Like I said, Father Time is undefeated, but I know we're going to have a real good player here, and we expect to have a really good player for the foreseeable future. And like I said, a lot that credit goes to John and how he prepares and how he looks after himself.
Thank you. We'll go Luke Fox, Sportsnet. Go ahead, Luke.
Congrats on the deal, Brad. How
Thanks.
rare is it to find a guy like Taveras that is willing to take a hometown discount? You're involved in these negotiations all the time. How rare is it for a player to do this, do you think?
Well, I mean, hometown discount. There's lots of factors that go into play here, right? certainly money is an important factor, and it should be for everybody, right? Players have only a certain amount of time in a career, so I don't begrudge any player for trying to get the most that they possibly can. There's team dynamics. There's obviously we're in a salary cap structure here, so John's. I'd probably best answer it, Luke, from what I said at the beginning here is, we had a shared goal at the start of this is John wanted to be here. We wanted John here. We tried to be as creative as we possibly could to sort of serve both masters, is trying to find a deal that's going to work for John in terms of the dollars, and work for us from a cap perspective. So I'd go back to what I said at the opening. This deal doesn't happen at the dollars that it does and the cap that it's at for a player like John without John's true commitment to be here. And so it's like I said, the credit goes to him. I'm whenever it is, next Tuesday, next Wednesday. No doubt in my mind, there was more money for John outside of Toronto. His commitment was to find a way to make it work for him in Toronto.
Go to Lance Hornby, Toronto Sun, please. Lance, got to unmute.
Sorry there, Brad. Just wanted to ask about your opinion on John once he gave up the captaincy, his role on this team as I'm sure some of the guys, how important has that been? And not that anyone thought it would dissipate after Austin replaced him, but what do you see his effect being both last year and in the years ahead with some of your younger guys?
Yeah, thanks, Lance. I think I said it at the time there. I didn't expect his role to change a whole lot in terms of what he brings from a leadership standpoint. Like I said, John is he's a great role model for whether it be young players or veteran players, just in how he prepares. You talk to anybody in our locker room, and he's an absolute role model for how you prepare yourself, how you look after your body, how you prepare for games, how you go about your business. And to me, that's a big part of leadership, and the commitment that he puts to his craft. So I didn't expect any different. We didn't get a different John this year than what we had. I can speak to a year ago, my first year here, or previously. He showed a great deal of selflessness, quite frankly, in terms of with the captaincy, and understood what we were trying to accomplish there. And so again, it's just a credit to the individual. No different than we're saying today. I think John was selfless in looking and putting this contract together. So again, John, the man, he's been the same individual, the same teammate, the same person around his teammates today that he was the first day I got here. So I think this is just another example of John's commitment to trying to, do his part to help our team be as good as we possibly can.
We'll go two last questions here. David Alter, Hockey News.
Hey, Brad, a bit of a two-parter here. One, I'm sure you saw the NHL and NHLP announced a contract extension. You've been an executive, or a CBA extension, rather. You've been an executive through other lockouts. How much of a relief is that? And also, when you're doing these deals that kind of have an unprecedented knowledge of what the cap is going to be in subsequent years, like they announced earlier in the season, how much did that help in terms of your roadmap for what you're looking for in terms of building a roster?
The first part, David, I think anytime that you can have labor peace and stability, I think it's a positive. It's certainly a positive. And I know the league and the Players Association has worked long and hard at getting this deal put together. I think there's a true partnership, and they should be commended. The game's in a great spot. The game's in a great spot. It's growing. It's entertaining, and so the fact that we're able to get an agreement done that ensures stability and cooperation and partnership moving forward, I think is a credit to the league and the players, and so that was certainly great news to hear today. As far as having some cap projections, you're right. There's I think it's like anything else that helps you plan a little bit, right? It helps you, as every team goes through their modeling and how their picture plays out, it gives you, it gives you a better idea of what the future holds versus, in years past, we'd be getting to about this time and we're having a sense of what the cap, sort of what the cap calculations are going to be for the coming season. So it certainly, now you can do some assumptions and so on and so forth, but certainly giving yourself a little bit of a roadmap moving forward is helpful, and I think it's been a positive thing that everybody's thankful for.
And we'll go final question here. Nick Barton, the Hockey News. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey Brad, I was just wondering when you talk about Taveras and his commitment to, preparation and the work, I was wondering if you could share a moment where you've seen his work and his preparation firsthand and what that looks like.
Well, you see it every day in terms of a specific. John was here yesterday, and he's got his routine that he goes through off the ice. He's got a routine. He's working on his game on the ice. He's, if we go on a one-day road trip, you think John's leaving for 3 weeks because he's got a number of bags with him with different apparatuses that he uses off the ice in terms of stretching and plyometrics and all sorts of things. So it's a lifestyle for him, Nick, that it anything that goes in his body, the food he eats, his preparation to get ready for practice, to get ready for a game, what he does after a game, it's constant. It's constant in terms of, to me, it's a complete lifestyle and routine that he's found that works for him, and there's certainly a God-given talent that John has, and he's had since he was a young man, and has been, people have known about John Taveras since he was a young lad, and so that's part of the equation, but you don't get to where he is and have the career that he's had without a lot of elbow grease and a lot of work, and it's a daily thing for him. He's committed to his lifestyle, and like I said, just how he takes care of himself. So there's not necessarily an aha moment, but you see it from the minute he walks into the facility each day till the moment he leaves, and you know what he's doing, over the course of the off season and away from the arena is everything to make sure that he's at his very, very best, and it's impressive.